when I first got started, I did what many of you probably have done. I started with my family and friends. They all got a lot. Sorry, Vivian, I apologize. I didn't mean to call you that many times. I'm glad you got the insurance. I'm glad you still have it. But I called all my family and friends, neighbors, anybody who I knew that owned a business to try to find a way to make it work in this industry. Right, I dialed through that old book of business. I bought leads from wherever I could figure out where to get leads from, all right? And I struggled. I struggled for 2 years. My first year, I didn't have, I don't know if they got the answer yet, but I didn't have Cody's first year in insurance, okay? My first year in insurance, I might have made $30,000, like gross. I spent a whole bunch of that to try to make that $30,000, okay? So it wasn't going very well for me, and so there were a lot of doubts. But here's what happened. Here's where things changed. Here's where clarity was able to come for me.
Next speaker has built the largest agency with Symmetry Financial Group. He's a serial entrepreneur with one of the most impressive resumes I've ever seen. He's a graduate of Yale University. He has a massive heart for the industry and is ready to help you achieve more. He's a beast from the Southeast, all the way from Puerto Rico. Please welcome to the 8% virtual stage, Mr. Edward Pritchett. Appreciate you, brother. The Edward Pritchett in the house. Let's rock and roll. Give it up for Edward Pritchett.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever in the world you may be. It is an honor and a pleasure to be here, able to speak with you all and share just a little bit about a problem that we all have. And we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Mr. Cody Askins. So if you're not giving gratitude back, if you throw it in the chat, just how thankful are you for an opportunity to be able to come together from all across this industry, life, P&C, health, everything, like all the stuff that has been shared today, it can help you in any one of those parts of this amazing industry. And for Cody to put that together and his whole team and what they have here, to hear from his dad this morning, my first time hearing from him, absolutely amazing. It's amazing that we're in an industry that can do that. That it doesn't matter where you are, who you're working with, we can come together and share information because by building us all up, we continue to grow this industry that really, it has no limits. There's no end to what you can do in the insurance industry. I hope you all know that. Those of you who are, you guys know that? Do you guys understand how much this industry has available? We sometimes act like we're in this red ocean situation, right? We're fighting the other fish right beside us, sharks attacking one another, blood sport, it doesn't have to be like that, right? There's so much blue ocean. I was reading on the flight over, Swiss Re, it's I don't even know the word now that I just said it. They reinsure, a reinsurer, right? They put an estimate that in the property and casualty side worldwide, over $7 trillion worth of premium flew from individuals to insurance companies. In the life industry in the United States, in 2020, they had their first $1 trillion year of premium flowing from consumers to carriers. And guess who has to get in the way of that? And I mean getting away in the right way. We have to direct it, guide it, make sure our clients are getting the right things. And I would imagine that you're on this platform today, you're watching and you're listening because you have a problem. You have, some might call it a pickle. You're in a pickle, right? And I had to figure that out, like what is a pickle? Like why does that mean that you're in a problem, in this tough situation? I actually found out, Marlon, that phrase goes back over 400 years. Guess who coined that phrase? Of course, William Shakespeare. Like every good phrase came from William Shakespeare. But it's like a pickle. At the time, it was more about being in this drunken state, right? That's what it meant back then, and we've changed it over time. But you're on this platform right now. You're watching this. You've dedicated your day to this, right? Because you have a problem. You're in a pickle. You know what this industry is capable of. You know what's possible, right? As Cody was sharing, you're not out in space, right? You're not where it's impossible. You're in the orbit at least, right? Maybe you're right outside. You're in the probable. Maybe you think it's possible, but for you, it's not actual. And that's the pickle. And I would say even for the people who are in this room right now, you're in this room too because you know there's more. There's more than what you currently have. That next place along your path is still out there, and you're trying to figure out how can we get there. So if you're in this situation, how can you get out of it? Right? That's why I'm here. I am here because there is a solution. There's a solution for your pickle. There's a solution for your client's pickle. There's a solution for the agencies that are trying to build your pickle. There's a solution. I was walking out in the hall and heard someone having a conversation with a carrier, right? There's a solution for the carrier pickle, right? They're trying to get more distribution flowing out. What is that solution? And it's been said multiple times already throughout this day in various ways. The solution to whatever problem you're dealing with right now around your business, and here's where it gets a little bit deeper, right? Because these same solutions will apply to your personal life, your relationships, your health life. You can apply it to all of those because here's the thing. The principles of success are universal. If it works, it works. I think it was David, when you said earlier, it's like, if there is someone in your organization who's having success, guess what? Success is possible. It is, right? And if it's possible, then you can turn it into that actual place. So what is the solution? This is the solution. This is it. You have to be clear about what you want and then believe that it's possible for you. It sounds simple, right? It sounds very simple. And some of you are like, okay, that's all? I paid all this money to hear that, and you're, okay, yes, it's simple to say, maybe even simple to hear. In practice, that's where the toughness comes. But here's the thing. If you can do, and I'm only going to give you just one thing, all right? If you can do one thing, and this has been said before, but I want to say it again because I believe it's the most important thing. But if you can do this one thing, I can guarantee that your life, 6 months from now, 9 months from now, a year from now, is going to look like nothing you ever thought it could be. Because here's the thing, as you start going down this path, the dream that you have right now, it starts to be realized, which then allows you to dream bigger, which then allows you to dream bigger and bigger. And now when you're a year down the road, 2 years down the road, it's an entirely you're not in a place right now to even imagine where your life could be. What Jesse was talking about earlier, right? To start from there and then 6 months later, get to the point where, oh, wow, this is working. Now I can dream a little bit more and then a little bit more. That's what this journey, this path that we all are on one way or the other will take us if we move along in a very clear path. So that clarity that I know where I'm going for right now, and I love the way Jesse put it, like, how about you just take 6 months of actually doing something? Not a day, not try it for 2 weeks, but I'm going to set a time-bound goal here and say for the next 6 months, this is what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to waver. I'm not going to let my mom, my dad, my cousin, my uncle, my best friend, my coworkers, the other people in my organization, I'm not going to let anybody dissuade me from that. I'm going to have, and this is where the belief comes in, I'm going to have a belief in myself finally, maybe for the first time in your life. Have a belief in yourself so powerful that none of the naysayers, right? None of the people who, as Marlon was talking about, trying to pile on the dirt, add on the adversity that it's going to come, right? There's no one in this room who hasn't had to deal with that at one point in time or another. But to have that belief, that single-minded belief that you are going to make it happen, even when, and here's the hardest part, even when you doubt yourself. Okay, how am I going to have belief, Edward, when I doubt myself? So when I got into this industry almost 14 years ago now, working to just pay the bills, I could commiserate with Jessie when she was talking about that earlier. I just wound up in the insurance industry. I was supposed to be an engineer, right? Like, that's what I was supposed to be doing. Like, how am I now selling insurance? And when I first got started, I did what many of you probably have done. I started with my family and friends. They all got a lot. Sorry, Vivian, I apologize. I didn't mean to call you that many times. I'm glad you got the insurance. I'm glad you still have it. But I called all my family and friends, neighbors, anybody who I knew that owned a business to try to find a way to make it work in this industry. Right? I dialed through that old book of business. I bought leads from wherever I could figure out where to get leads from. All right? And I struggled. I struggled for 2 years. My first year, I didn't have, I don't know if they got the answer yet, but I didn't have Cody's first year in insurance, okay? My first year in insurance, I might have made $30,000, like gross. I spent a whole bunch of that to try to make that $30,000, okay? So it wasn't going very well for me, and so there were a lot of doubts. But here's what happened. Here's where things changed. Here's where clarity was able to come for me. I was able to find someone who was able to speak life into me, in the sense of finding a mentor, someone who believed in me more than I believed in myself. And what they did, they asked some questions. I think Roger just talked about that, right? They started asking some good questions, questions that helped me realize why what I'm doing in this industry matters. Questions that connected me back to a time in my life when I lost my mother and I saw life insurance work to keep my family solvent for years, to be able to keep us in the home that I grew up in, right? By asking the right questions, this mentor was able to help me connect that, and then I found something bigger than myself that I could believe in. I found a passion, I found a reason to be able to go out and pick up the phone or do a door knock or drive 3 hours for an appointment, because I believed in myself and why I was in this industry. So if you have a problem, if you have an issue, the way that you can deal with that is by saying, I'm going to have clarity on how I can solve this problem and find belief in myself that I'm going to solve it. If you have those two things, I promise you, you have a system. Like that's the easy part these days. Everything's on YouTube. Everything's on Google, right? You can go and Google something, but you also have mentors. You're also probably already part of a system that is working for someone. And if you find that mentor that can point you in the direction of that, and you bring to them a clear ideal of here's where I need to go, here's where I must go, here's where I'm going to be 6 months from now, 3 months from now, a year from now, and then you find a way to connect that to a belief in yourself that you probably have never had before. Because a lot of you are probably sitting there thinking, well, I've believed before. I believed. I believe I could do it. I believe I could get on the phone and call these leads and book these appointments and that I was going to go out and write business, and then it didn't happen, Edward. What do you say? Was I not believing hard enough? Ready for the tough answer? Yes. You were not believing hard enough. If you believe, belief creates reality. If you believe, your reality will become what you believe. Like, that's how everything works. The people who just knew that they knew that they knew that they knew end up doing these great things, and the person who doubts always finds an excuse, always finds a reason to fall away. That's why this is something that if anybody who is building a business, even outside of insurance, I love what Cody has done with 8% Nation and building this educational platform, right, for us all to participate in. He had to just, nobody else was doing it, right? Not like this, not on this scale. You know, you may see some people doing it for their agency, or maybe a carrier was trying to do some type of, but nothing like this. But he had a belief, even when I'm sure there were some people like, nah, you're not gonna get people from across the industry to actually come together and tell each other their secrets. That's a joke, right? And we see it happening right now. So if you're not getting the reality that you're wanting to have happen for yourself, if that's not occurring, you have to check two things. That's clarity. Are you clear about where you want to go? Is it a must for you? Does it have to happen? Is it life or death? And do you actually believe? Not the cursory, oh yeah, I believe I'm going to do it, but the belief that makes watching The Price is Right, I figured I had to throw that in because 3 people have used it already, so another Price is Right reference, to make it so that watching The Price is Right isn't even an option, right? Like that doesn't even enter your realm of belief because your belief in what you're getting ready to do has just crowded it out. And if you can have this one thing, just an intense focus, keep that word in mind. I'm going to focus on those 2 things. This may sound weird. Don't focus on the system. If you're in the industry, you have a system that someone has been successful with, all right? You have, I promise you do, okay? You have a system. Focus on those 2 things. That's the one thing to do. Focus on clarity and belief. Clarity and belief. Clarity and belief. And if you can't do it on your own, find a mentor, find a coach. Plug into the coaching that you're getting just from being on this call right here if you're not getting it wherever you might be right now. Focus on clarity and belief. And the more you do that, the stronger that becomes, you're going to start to see some things change. Because when your belief changes, your actions start to change. The way you say stuff starts to change. The way you hold yourself when you're talking to agents or clients. Or, hey, how about this? Your family, right? Whenever someone tries to put something on you that shouldn't be on you, you're going to be able to stand up a little bit straighter, right? And say, no, that's not how that's going to be because this is my life, this is what I believe, and this is where I'm going. And then you walk right on by and go about doing the actions that are going to take you to that reality. Focus. Focus on clarity and belief. And I keep repeating it because I want this for so many of us. This industry last year, from 2020 to 2021, in the first 3 quarters, grew by 18% on the life insurance side. 18% in $1 trillion revenue business. Do you guys understand how big of a number that is? Like what $1 trillion actually means? I'll leave you with this one thing. So you understand how big our industry is, so that hopefully it will give you a little bit of energy to try this out for 6 months. Have that belief for 6 months. Have that clarity and drive in that particular direction. Here's how big our industry is. Let's start with something that maybe we're more likely to understand. $100 million. If you had $100 million and you spent $20 a second, $20 a second, that's $1.7 million a day that you're spending. For some of you, let's put that in another perspective. That's like buying 10 G-Wagons a day. Okay, y'all got that. The 10 G-Wagons. Everybody can wrap their mind around that, all right? So if you bought 10 G-Wagons a day, all right, that's $20 a second, $1.7 million a year, and you had $100 million, it would take you 56 days to spend that amount of money. 56 days. 10 G-Wagons a day, that would get rid of that, all right? If you had $1 billion, and you did the same thing, I don't know where you're going to park them all. I don't know what kind of garage you have, but you're buying a lot of G-Wagons, okay? $1 billion, it would take you over 580 days. $1 trillion, if you bought 10 G-Wagons a day, $1.7 million a day, $20 a second, it would take you 1,585 years to spend that amount of money. Are you in a small industry? That's what we did in 1 year. And we act like there's not room for us to continue to grow. Focus on your clarity and your belief. And guys, the skies are unlimited. Thank you.
Hey, if you enjoyed this, I got another one you're gonna love. It's right there. Click on it. See you in there. Let's talk about the Tesla since you brought it up. Okay, so they gave away a Tesla this past year.
Yes.
How did that work? What did you do? Whose idea was it? Where did it come from?
You know, you look at it, we always give back to our community, and we're like,